What's up, people? It's your girl, Adeola. Nigeria. Hey, why now? So people can no longer hold rallies in peace? Hey, you know, I thought that this is a democratic country, okay? I mean, see me see trouble. Somebody tell me, are we back under Abacha? Eh? Are we back under a dictator? Hey, I'm sure that many of you have seen the video, but in case you're yet to see it, my people, this is what happened last Sunday when opposition party APC tried to hold a rally.
Sunday, January the 12th, can best be described as the day of rage in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. The canopies have been erected at the open field of the Rivers State College of Arts and Science, and then the police struck. All hell is let loose with the arrival of the police. The law enforcement officers are not here to provide security. Tear gas and rubber bullets are unleashed, and the assembled crowd flees in all directions amid the pandemonium.
Mr. Jonathan, and seriously, how can this happen under your watch? You know? And then you expect people to believe that you don't know anything about it. One senator, and Senator Magnus Abe, as well as the chief of staff to the governor, Chief Tony Okocha, both of them were hit by rubber bullets. How did we get here now? And it's not even 2015 yet. Oh, by the way, I heard that the senator that was hit by the rubber bullet, that he had internal bleeding, and then the next thing is that they took him to London. I said, seriously? Why is it that every little thing now we have to take people to London for treatment? Really? There is no hospital in Nigeria that can treat internal bleeding? What if the guy was shot by a real bullet? So you will still fly him all the way to London? If this person was a PDP member, we will all be shouting that PDP has come again. No, they take everybody to London for treatment. Now it is the opposition party that is doing it. What is going on? All this talk about Governor Amechi's transformation agenda, still, so no hospital can treat rubber bullet. Now wow. The other time, Oshiomhole had an accident. They said he was okay, but he had to go to London just to make sure that he was really okay, as if the Nigerian doctors don't know what they are saying. Before I forget, Madam Patience, you know, do well. Do you guys remember that not long ago, this woman came out saying that she changed her name to Mama Peace? Madam, explain to us now what is going on. Seriously, who ordered the policemen to disrupt that rally? Madam, you should be able to tell us something. This is your state. Since the governor is a member of the APC, who else can control the police? I'm not saying anything. You know, I just shake my head each time I see this man, you know, and the chief of police in Rivers State. That man should be ashamed of himself for letting people use him for their own political interest in Rivers State. Since that man became the chief of police in Rivers State, there has been so many dramas. Some people are saying on the internet that the APC was not supposed to hold a rally because campaigns have not been declared by INEC. I mean, I can't believe that some people actually think like that. What about when Patience Jonathan had a rally for her husband in Abuja last year? Remember how she blocked the roads and crippled every activity in Abuja without any notice? I remember now, with more than 30,000 women, all of them paid to come and say good things about this administration. Did anyone attack them? Why can't other people have rallies? You see, I'm not saying that she's behind anything. God forbid for me to mention any name. What do I even know? You know, I'm just saying that maybe she can explain some things to us as an indigene of Rivers State. You get what I'm saying? In any case, we'll keep our eyes on what is going on with this coming election. You guys know that I don't know much, so I beg, I'm just keeping it real. So, Nigerian government just finished negotiating for Britain to release Nigerian prisoners so that they can come and complete their times in Nigeria in exchange for British prisoners in Nigeria to go back to Britain. Wait 1 minute. Do we have British prisoners in Nigeria? I mean, sorry, my people. Yeah, back to what we were saying, my people. I mean, I didn't know that we have British prisoners in Nigeria. And even if we do, I'm sure that the ratio is probably like 100 Nigerian prisoners to like 1 British prisoner. Okay, so what kind of exchange is that? For a long time, you know, they've been telling us that our prisons are overcrowded. Our prisons are overcrowded. So where are they bringing all these 752 people that are coming from the UK? And where will they put them? sorry, Jade. I forgot that the Minister of Interior, yes, Comrade Abamoro, yes, he recently said that 5 prisons whose contracts were awarded in the 80s, you know, in the 1980s, that they are now set for completion. Yes, hallelujah, you know, finally. They are not completed yet before you start rejoicing. Even though their contracts were awarded in the 80s, you know, but now they are set for completion. Yes, thank God. I mean, how many years is that? About 30 years, you know, for us to build more prisons. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Of course we are progressing. Yes. Honestly, I believe that this whole thing is just an effort to bring James Ibori back to Nigeria, you know, as we prepare for the 2015 election. Remember him, the Ogidigbo of Nigeria. The man who stole more than $250 million when he was the governor of Delta State. The man whom they found more than £1 million cash inside his London home when he was arrested. That is the man that the Nigerian government is trying to get to come back to Nigeria. This is somebody that nobody could touch when he was in Nigeria. They kept arresting and releasing him. In fact, the judge who freed him in Asaba, Nigeria, the other time, Justice Awokulei, that man is retiring next week with full benefit, my people. I mean, if not for the UK government that arrested him in Dubai, Ibori would still be a free man in Nigeria today. Of course, now they're trying to get him presidential pardon, you know, just like Alamesia. But in order to do that, they have to bring him back to Nigeria, as if we don't know what is going on. Of course, I know they didn't mention his name as one of the prisoners coming back to Nigeria, but it is very possible, my people, that he would be one of them. I also have a problem with how the government is trying to make it look as if this is for our benefit, that they are trying to bring the prisoners, simply because UK is donating £1 million to help in the reformation of Nigerian prisons. First of all, if UK give them the £1 million, we already know that they won't spend that money to reform our prisons. I mean, it's gonna go into some people's pockets anyway. Second of all, it is just a way for the UK to reduce the cost of keeping prisoners in their country. Considering the fact that UK spends £40,000 every year on each inmate, providing them with good food, medical services, if they need any dental works done, everything that these prisoners need, constant electricity, air conditioner, heat, game equipment, clean beddings, and so on and so forth. They spend 40,000 on one inmate every year in the United Kingdom. So multiply that by 752 Nigerian inmates that are in the UK. That's more than £30 million every year that the UK is spending on Nigerian prisoners alone. So, I mean, giving us £1 million is great, but they just pocketed £29 million. You get what I'm saying? Personally, I don't think that any Nigerian would prefer to be in a Nigerian prison instead of a British prison. I don't think so. Thank you, Diare Kolidowo, for putting up those pictures. My people, these are typical Nigerian prisons, always overcrowded, unhygienic, you know. I mean, seriously, why would anybody want their citizens to leave UK prisons to come here? No, that just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. And show them some rough ones in the UK as well. Yes, thank you, my brother. But still, these rough prisons are better than what we have in Nigeria. So I don't think that any prisoner would want to be transferred to Nigeria, except, of course, those of them who are from rich families, because, you know, their family members, once they get to Nigeria, their family members can probably bribe them out of Nigerian prisons. But those of them that are from poor families, Kai, I really pity them. Kai, going from UK prison to Nigerian prison when you are not from a rich family in Nigeria, it's very sad, very, very sad. Which is why you can be sure that if James Ibori comes back, he will not be put in such a prison. Once he gets to Nigeria, he's a free man. Trust me. My people, if the Nigerian government really wants us to believe that they're just looking out for their citizens, I mean, why can't they try to bring the 400 Nigerian students languishing in Chinese prisons? I mean, why can't they do that? I know that a lot of those people committed offenses, they committed crimes, but sometimes language barrier, so many things are responsible for many of those Nigerian students that are in prison. In fact, a lot of the students have testified to the racial discrimination, but they are insisting that if they stay in Nigeria, that they may never complete their studies in years to come. So do you guys think that bringing the prisoners to Nigeria is a good idea or not? Let me know what you think in the comment below, and guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Sierra Leone, this month is the anniversary of the civil war that lasted from 1991 to 2002, 11 years with more than 50,000 people dead. It was funded by diamond exports and supported by Liberian warlord Charles Taylor, who later became president. Thousands of children were forced to become soldiers and forced to even kill their own family members. Women were abducted and raped, and cannibalism became a regular practice among the fighters. The good news is Sierra Leone has been relatively peaceful since the war ended. Elections have been peaceful. In fact, in 2007, there was a peaceful transfer of power from Sierra Leone People's Party to the party that was in power when the war started. That's the All People's Congress, APC. And of course, Charles Taylor is now in prison for war crimes. But I'm sorry to tell you that not much has changed in Sierra Leone since the war ended in terms of infrastructures. I mean, Sierra Leone is more or less as poor and underdeveloped as it was after the war ended. And that bothers me because it's been like 12 years now that the war ended and it still ranks at the bottom when it comes to the poorest countries in the world, and it's also among the most corrupt countries. I know that the government claims that they have some improvements. Yes, that's true, especially with some recent high-profile arrests of ranking officials who are corrupt. Kudos to the government for that, and also for making sure that the country is relatively peaceful. But I really wish that the government of Sierra Leone would work on just the basic things, basic amenities, okay? Stable electricity and good roads. Those two things. You would not believe how bad some of the roads are in Sierra Leone right now. I mean, I thought that we have bad roads in Nigeria, but some of these roads have not been upgraded in years. Also, my heart aches, you know, when I think about the fact that the war is still very fresh in the minds of so many people because of the scars. I mean, take a look at this video of these women who were once forced to be child soldiers during the war.
We are drugging every day to go and kill people, cut our hands, ace, take this power glue, put in our mouth, close it so that he can't talk.
They give me gun RPG. I don't even able to carry it, only to drag it. They force us to kill people.
He give me gun to kill my brother. He said, if you don't kill it, I will kill you and I kill your brother. So I shoot it.
They raped us that day to meet up the Christmas morning.
I miss my mother and my father, and I don't even know where it's my parents.
We see our experience. We encourage ourselves. It is painful. We are not going to revenge. We forgive them. But we forgive, but we are not going to forget.
It's very sad indeed. Apparently, more than 30% of the child soldiers were women. I didn't know that. And so many of them are ostracized by the society after the war. People refuse to accept them now that the war is over. Now, what baffles me is the fact that despite what happened in Sierra Leone, despite the genocide in Sudan and Rwanda, we still have not learned in Africa. The Central African Republic just went through a turmoil with about 1 million people displaced. 1 million, all because of a political and religious fight, whatever. While we're all celebrating the new year, do you guys know that children in the Central African Republic, children were being mutilated? Yes, they were beheading little children. I mean, that just, I can't even think of it. Whatever you're fighting about, why involve little children? Seriously? It's as if a spirit takes hold of these people. I look at the pictures and it's like, I can't tell the difference. They all look the same to me. I can't tell who is Christian, who is Muslim. I can't tell who is from the south, who is from the north. They all look the same to me. How stupid can we be sometimes in Africa, killing ourselves? Even though we look the same. I guess that's the way the world looks at us in Nigeria too, killing each other for religious fight, for whatever we fight for. For 3 weeks, the UN couldn't send food or aid because of the machete attacks. So hundreds of thousands of people starved for 3 weeks. I'm glad that the president finally stepped down. You know, a lot of people were actually celebrating when he stepped down, But even after the president announced his resignation, do you know that some people still continue to kill? That president, Jotodia, actually seized power in March of last year. He was backed by his mostly Muslim Seleka rebel alliance. Now he's seeking exile in Benin. So, in light of the anniversary of the war in Sierra Leone, I'm begging us Africans to do whatever it would take for us to live in peace. You know, I always wish that Nigeria would get its acts together, seriously. If only we can be the giants that people call us. Seriously, we're supposed to be the one reaching out to other African countries to promote peace and stability. I mean, I know that we are doing something, I know we send out troops and stuff like that, but I feel like it doesn't have as much impact as when the help comes from Westerners. The US would send aid, they would send soldiers all the way across the world to Africa. Why can't Nigeria be the America of Africa? Maybe I'm not making sense, you know, because we're still dealing with our own Boko Haram, but I strongly believe, okay, I really believe that someday the Africa will take its rightful place at the table of rapidly developing regions. I really believe that. Now let's go back to Sierra Leone. A lot of people have the image of war whenever they think about Sierra Leone, but I'm telling you that it's a beautiful country, richly blessed with gold, diamond, titanium ore, bauxite, iron ore, chromite. I mean, beautiful beaches and a lot of fine babes. You get what I'm saying? You know, like I bet you want tomato juice, eh? Yeah, she's from Sierra Leone. Isn't she pretty? Eh? So take a look at this video from Sierra Leone.
Black Snoop but Papa's once again, you know. We are boss for chaka styling on the hood. And we want to help you get a food. We are cook on them. No matter what, we are fee more than them. Yo. Mr. Mom, kata where they make all scatter. Then they say we bust up for them one shatter. And me I tell you we no mix, but no matter. And they better push go with cause kata Uda want test for the place. Uda, the lyrics never damage all the face. Uda, man they better come on our place. Try to get your right way, so me say Uda want test for the place. Uda, the lyrics never damage all the face. Uda, man they better come on our place. Try to get your right way, so me say man a boss from the east man. Tell you all of them, bad man they will me defend. When they on the batty style. When they sweep on the stage, them a run for hide. That's true. See the way they dance, she shows. Kata got the O, them a start to blow. We have to give them a funky style. No style on the team, get them up the smile. When they sweep on the O, them a know say we a go, we a wicked.
Moving on to Cameroon, our next door neighbor. It wasn't long ago that I talked about how President Paul Biya was disgraced in France, remember? Well, now I'm hearing that next month, February, there would be a huge conference with politicians, religious leaders, and civil society leaders. All of them will gather in Garoua to address the repatriation of the body of the former president, that is President Ahmadou Ahidjo, the man who handed power over to Paul Biya. Yep. Now, for those of you who did not know, Cameroon has only had 2 presidents since independence in 1960, just 2. So this is the first president, Ahmadou Ahidjo. He was in power for 22 years. 22! No, seriously, I need to start praying for Cameroon because it looks like everybody that comes to power wants to be there for decades. I don't understand what is going on. That is a lot of years, y'all, 22. But despite that, the country was actually faring well under Ahidjo. If you compare his tenure to that of Biya, they are like night and day. The economy of Cameroon was booming at that time. The country was united. He successfully persuaded part of British Cameroon to join the country, and it was during his tenure that a lot of the modern infrastructures in Cameroon were built. But having said that, his own list of wrongdoings is very long as well, including getting rid of political adversaries via assassinations. No matter where they were at that time, that man made sure that nobody could stand against him, as well as establishing complete dominance of his own party and outlawing all others by 1976. And no people talk more, but a lot of Cameroonians actually believe that he only handed over to Biya, believing that he could control Biya, not knowing that Biya had his own agenda. You get what I'm saying, eh? Biya had his own agenda to take over completely, but he thought that he could control Biya, eh? Also, there are speculations that he was the one behind the violent but unsuccessful coup attempt in April of 1984, when Biya was already president. So yeah, he has his own list of wrongdoings. He was a dictator during his time. Now it's been almost 25 years that he died in Senegal. You know that Biya sentenced him to death in absentia, and then later he changed it to life imprisonment in absentia. So he never came back to Cameroon when he fled to Senegal. But what I don't understand, okay, is why Biya doesn't want his corpse brought back to Cameroon. Seriously, dude, the man is dead. He's dead. Biya, what else can he do? I mean, I learned that a lot of Cameroonians would want to have a state burial for Ahidjo, you know, being the first head of state for the country, the very first one after independence. They believe that he deserves a state burial as a president who actually developed Cameroon. But he looks like Paul Biya is afraid of seeing a ghost. I don't know what he's afraid of. He's afraid of seeing this man get a state burial. You know that Biya already removed every sign of the former president that you can find in Cameroon. It's like he doesn't want Cameroonians to even remember that they had a president before him. He seems to be blind to the fact that his tenure is actually worse in all ways compared to that of Ahidjo. Can I remind you, Mr. Biya, that today is all you know? Like seriously, you never know what would happen tomorrow. Because when Ahidjo was in power, he never thought that he would die in exile. He never thought about that. But he did. He died in exile, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of African dictators end up dying in exile. Maybe it's not good to be a dictator after all. Remember that Idi Amin of Uganda died in Saudi Arabia. Siad Barre, that Somalian dictator, remember him? He died in Nigeria, as well as Mobutu Sese Seko, yes, of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He died in Morocco. They all died outside somewhere, including Meles Zenawi, the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. You know that he died in Belgium. Maybe it's not good to be a dictator. I'm not saying anything, oh, I beg. I'm just saying that Biya should remember that today is all that you know. If you don't give the man state burial now, another president will come and give him state burial. Just because you're the one in power right now doesn't mean that things cannot change. But you guys know that me, I don't know anything. I beg, I don't know anything. I'm just keeping it real. Before I leave today, I like to read some of your emails, and the first one is from Ejiro Eyaru from London. He says, "Hi Adeola, it's very sad to see how unemployment has become the bane of many Nigerian graduates, while those that forge degrees get the top jobs in government." And guess what? Ejiro attached a picture of a job description in Nigeria that he found. Can you believe that the job description specifically asks for graduates? We're talking about sales boy, sales girl, bartender, and they're asking for graduates. And do you know that it would be graduates that would apply for those jobs? This is what Nigeria has come to. How ridiculous. And it's like our government is blind to these things. Our next email is from Roger Stephen Nabieu. And he says, "Hi Adeola, greetings from Cape Town in South Africa. I'm originally from Sierra Leone. Where the hell have I been that I had never seen any of your videos?" Well, I'm glad that you found the videos now. I am from Sierra Leone, and I'm hoping that someday you will be able to cover my country. Well, I'm so glad that you sent your email, because guess what? I get to cover your country this week, so thank you very much for writing. Our next email is from Kelechi Ononuju, and this person says, "Hi Adeola, is it that God designed Africans to be like this, or Africans have chosen this path for themselves?" I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't think that this has anything to do with God. Seriously, I feel like God has given us the same brain that Westerners have, the same ability. In fact, God has been so good to Africans, in the sense that Africa is the richest continent when it comes to natural resources. I think we are more blessed. But it's sad that the richer we are, the poorer we are at the same time, if you know what I mean. So I don't think this has anything to do with God. I think it's just the result of the decisions that our leaders are making. So that's why we're all hoping for better leaders. Like I said, someday Africa will take its rightful place among the developing regions in this world. When we have the right leaders, yes, we will get there someday. Well, that's all the time that I have for emails today. Please keep sending your emails to adeola.keepingitreal@gmail.com. Alright y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out!